All right, do you start the timer over? Okay, because I'm gonna need probably all 10 minutes plus. So we're gonna talk about nutrition and more specifically post-exercise, post-WOD nutrition. What is it for? Do you actually need it? Is there actual benefit to doing it? So if we look at kind of like the scientific reasoning that's out there for why people would take nutrition immediately after the workout, kind of really talking about that post-workout window that everyone talks about. So one is to replenish glycogen, and glycogen is the stored energy, if you will, inside your muscles primarily. It's a little bit in your liver, but mostly it's in your muscles. So one thought is that you take in nutrition immediately after workout to restore that. Two is for protein synthesis. So when we work out, we break down muscle. So if we take in protein immediately after the workout, it'll help replenish that protein. Third is it'll actually help prevent some of the breakdown of protein. And then finally is muscle hypertrophy, or building muscle, right? And so in layman's terms, it's like to replenish your energy stores, rebuild your energy stores, to help with the gain train, right? Build muscle and help prevent the breakdown of muscle. So honestly, the research on it is kind of mixed. You can find some research that supports all of those ideas. You can find some research that says, nah, it's really not that big of a deal. I think there's other things to consider when it comes to, is it beneficial? And the biggest one is, what are you eating throughout the day? Like, if you're not eating high quality food, if you're not getting enough protein, if you're getting too much carbohydrate or whatever it is throughout the day, it really doesn't matter what you take in immediately after the workout, right? It's like, oh, I haven't changed my oil in 5 years. I've never gotten new spark plugs, and I got like 150,000 miles on my tires, but every once in a while I put in high octane fuel. It doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter, right? Your car's gonna fall apart. So taking the highest quality protein shake or whatever it is, but not supporting that with good food throughout the day, it doesn't really matter. The other thing I think to look at is, what are your goals? If your goals are just general fitness, if your goals are just to come in and get a great workout, feel better, and improve your general fitness, the immediacy of your timing of your post-workout nutrition isn't that big of a deal. And what I mean by that is, if you forget and you don't take your post-workout shake for an hour afterwards, you haven't ruined your benefit. Okay? And yelling time, immediately collapsing, and then log rolling over to your bag so you can start taking your protein shake isn't necessary either. Like, it doesn't have to be immediate. There are a couple scenarios where it might be a little bit more important. One, our 5 a.m.ers, 6 a.m.ers, they're coming in after having not eaten anything for many hours. Most people, I know some people are kind of neurotic and they'll get up an hour and a half before and eat something. But most people, like on the occasion that I do an early morning workout, it's roll out of bed, maybe have a cup of coffee, hit the workout. For those folks, there's probably more of a benefit for them getting immediate post-workout nutrition because they're in a fasted state. Does it have to be a protein shake? Absolutely not. It can be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's the right mix of proteins and carbohydrates.
That's what I was just going to ask. Like,
yeah.
And is that going to still be workout dependent? Like,
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So your workout will determine what you need. Okay. The other folks where it might have a more immediate impact or a more relevant impact are people that are training more than once a day. So if you're doing multiple workouts in a day, a morning and evening session, if you're at a throwdown and you want to compete throughout the day, or if you're at like a multi-day event and you have a couple events each day, then yeah, it's probably a much bigger deal. Okay. Now, having said that, going to Amy's question, not every workout is the same, and not every workout should have the same type of post-workout nutrition demands, right? So the big things we're looking at are protein and carbohydrate consumption. Fat is typically not part of post-workout food because fat slows down the digestion process. It slows down the absorption. And so you're not going to get, like, all that stuff that you take in is just going to kind of sit in your gut for a while. And so you're not going to get that immediate benefit if there is one. So really what we're looking at is protein and carbohydrate. Think of it this way. The shorter and more intense your workout is, the less carbohydrate you need. The longer your workout is, the more carbohydrate you need. Okay. Basically, the longer you're going, the more you're digging into your stored energy, which is carbohydrate. Okay. So, as a general rule, most people are going to need somewhere between 20 to 40 grams of protein. I shouldn't say need. Most people are going to want to take in 20 to 40 grams of protein post-workout. Now, how much carbohydrate you take in is going to be determined by, again, how long the workout is. On a shorter workout, not a lot, maybe something that's sort of equivalent, like if you're getting 20 grams of protein, maybe 20-ish grams of carbohydrate. Progenics is kind of along that line. I think it has like 15 grams of carbohydrate. When you get into longer workouts, you could be looking at twice to 3 times, even 4 times. Like if you're doing a really long workout, even doing 4 times carbohydrate to protein. Right? So think of endurance athletes. That's a pretty common ratio that they'll take in. They'll take in, 100 grams of, maybe not 100 grams, but they'll take in like 40 grams of carbohydrate and 10 grams of protein because, again, it was a longer endurance event. Right? So when I look at CrossFit workouts, if I'm going to do something coming up here fairly soon, something like a Murph, I'm definitely want to take in carbohydrate along with my protein afterwards. So what I used to do, and I probably start doing again, is mixing like coconut milk coconut water with my protein source. But if I'm taking in 20 grams of protein after Murph, which I don't think is inappropriate, I want to take in somewhere between 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate. Okay. Anything less, I'm going to start cutting back on the carbohydrate intake. And if I'm doing something that's really going to be shorter and higher intensity, maybe just more load, like maybe we're doing a bunch of back squats or doing a bunch of deadlifts, something like that, I might be looking at just taking in some protein, 20 to 30 grams of protein, and then just a little bit of carbohydrate. And the reason we want those two together is the two together seem to help facilitate the uptake of the carbohydrate. You do, even in a short workout, you do deplete your carbohydrate, your glycogen stores a little bit, but carbohydrate and protein together seem to be a magic mix of helping to reabsorb those nutrients that you want. Okay. I just read this article. It's from 2013, but it was written by Alan Aragon and Brad Schoenfeld, who are like two guys that are like top dogs in this exercise nutrition world, and they're really big on like anabolic bodybuilding style nutrition, but they're just smart guys in nutrition. So I'm going to email this article to all of you guys, and I think I'll make it available if anyone wants to read it. It does get a little sciencey and a little bit heavy. I mean, there's some geeky exercise physiology stuff in here, but I think still there's a lot of stuff that you can take out of it where you can see kind of the back and forth in some of the research, and they kind of break it down as far as what your needs are. It is mostly about hypertrophy and building muscle. They don't speak too much to endurance, but you get some of that there. One big misconception. So those are the reasons that people take it from the science perspective. There's all kinds of reasons that people take it outside of that, like, I take because it prevents soreness. Then I don't care if you take it immediately after, you can take it whenever. Like, a protein shaker is not going to prevent soreness. Like, that's just part of physiology. You do a lot of work, you're going to break down tissue, you're going to cause some inflammation, and you're going to be sore. And that's all part of the process. That's all part of the process of getting stronger and building muscle, is that muscle breakdown and that micro inflammation, and no amount of protein is going to eliminate that. And if it did, it would eliminate your gains, because you got to have the breakdown, you got to have the inflammation in order to have the repair and the healing that causes the gains in whatever that is: strength, speed, endurance, whatever that is. So that's a common misconception that I hear, that I take it because I don't want to get sore. It doesn't work that way. So, what questions do you guys have about it?
I think the relevant questions right now are, does it count for your macros?
Yeah. Yes. So does it count for your macros? Absolutely, it counts for your macros. Everything you take in counts for what you do. And I think the other question is that, does it have to be a shake? No. The reason that people often take shakes, 2, it's really convenient. 3, it's really convenient. They're pretty tasty. And then physiologically, the whey protein isolate gets absorbed into your system a little bit faster. But again, if you ate scrambled eggs and sweet potatoes, it's still going to be absorbed. It's just going to be a little bit slower. Does that mean you won't get any benefit from it? No, not at all. You're still going to get benefit from it as long as you're taking in quality stuff. And as long as the rest of your day is balanced on your macronutrients and you're getting high quality stuff.
So how big of a deal is it for our super low carb folks after MRF that they're not going to take in 60 to 80 grams of carbs in their post-workout because their daily total is less than 50, less than 30 in some aspects?
I think if you know you're going to do, I think if you know you're going to do a big, massive workout and you're not taking in a lot of carbohydrate, what I would do is bank your carbohydrates for surrounding the workout. Either a little bit before and then some afterwards, and then the rest of the day, don't worry about it. But I think there's, for those folks who are going really low carb, I think there's, you're going to feel better if you do it that way, I think.